this one tool has the power to completely transform your life.
I'm your host, Sterling Jaquith. Let us begin.
Hi, and today we're going to be talking about the model. And I learned the model at the life coach school where I was trained as a coach. The main tool that I use in all of my work. What this does, this tool helps you to see your thinking and to decide whether you're believing truth or lies. But the purpose of the model is to look at your own thinking and to ask yourself, is this thought leading me to God? Because everything we do is either leading us toward God or away from God. Now, I'm going to give business examples, but you can use this with your parenting, with your marriage, anything that you want. This is the exact tool I use to lose 70 pounds because I realized that it was just my thinking that was keeping me stuck. Okay, so this is the model. For those of you listening to the podcast, I'm going to say it slowly so you can take it in, but you can also come to our Made for Greatness YouTube channel and watch a video where I do have notes up so you can see the words that I'm using and follow along that way. But I'll try to go slowly so that you guys who are just listening to it can take it in as well. So we have two kinds of models. There is an unintentional model. Those are just the thoughts that are floating around like a ticker tape in our mind. We're not trying to think them on purpose. They just pop up. I'm going to teach you now whether you want to keep those thoughts or not. Okay? But our intentional thinking is the thinking that we do on purpose. So your intentional model is going to be around a thought that serves you, that gets you closer to what you want, the results that you want to create in your life. Okay? So there are 5 lines on the model. Okay? I'm going to say them a couple times. Circumstance, thought, feeling, action, result. So now let me tell you what each of those are. The circumstance line is whatever triggered you to have the thought. It's whatever the fact of the situation is. Okay, so a circumstance might be, I was just fired. It's provable in a court of law, right? So if you were just fired from your job or laid off, you might have a ton of thoughts about that circumstance. Okay? But the circumstance itself is provable in a court of law. We can all agree there's no opinions in the circumstance line, facts and numbers. If you had a conversation with someone that was upsetting to you and you remembered the exact phrase that they said that was upsetting to you, maybe you had a friend and they said, I'm never going to talk to you again. You could put the words, I'm never going to talk to you again, in the circumstance line. But in business, this is so useful because a lot of you spin out on, I don't know what I'm doing, the business isn't working, I'm not making enough money, and you think you're telling me facts, but I'm going to ask you, okay, what are the facts though? And then you're going to have to say, well, I booked 2 clients this month, or I sold 3 courses, or 7 people enrolled in my membership. Whatever it is, there's going to be a fact there that's based on numbers, and you're going to share that with me. Okay? And then I'm going to ask you, what is your thought about that? And your thought is when you think of the circumstance, what is the thought that comes up? Okay, so the example that I'm using right now is the circumstance is the end of the month, you're looking at your sales numbers, and you did not meet your goal. Okay? It is a fact that you set a goal, and we can prove that you did not meet the goal that you set. Okay? So that's the circumstance. End of the month, looking at the numbers of sales, you did not meet your goal. And you have this thought. And the thought is, this isn't working. And then the next line in the model is the feeling line. So your coach is going to say, and when you think that thought, how does it make you feel? And I put down failure, right? When I think this isn't working, it makes me feel like a failure. And then when we feel like a failure, what actions are we taking? And on the action line of the model, we put both the action we're taking and also the action we're not taking from the feeling of failure. So you always want to check in with yourself. Am I doing this from the feeling of feeling like a failure? Okay, so when you feel like a failure in your action line, it's probably going to be paralyzed. Maybe you're distracting yourself. with social media or maybe business podcasts, sometimes we do things that look kind of productive, but we're really not doing the thing that we need to be doing in our business. And we're doing it from this place of feeling like a failure. Oh, I feel like such a failure, so I'm just going to go spin out and do a bunch of things that aren't helpful. You're not problem solving and you're not praying. Okay, we never pray from the feeling of failure. We pray from the feeling of hope or love, sometimes connection, but we shift into a different feeling when the action line says praying. So when you feel like a failure, you're not praying. And you're probably snapping at your family. Like if you thought your business wasn't working and you feel like a failure, you're not going to be a great person to be around, right? You're either going to be super sad or you're going to be a little bit angry because sadness lives under anger. And so that's when we kind of snap at our family and they have no idea that it's because you're so sad that you think your business isn't working. Okay, so that's our unintentional model. The circumstances, end of the month, sales numbers didn't hit your goal. Your thought is, this isn't working. Your feeling is failure. And then your action line is paralyzed, distracting yourself with scrolling on social media or podcasts. You're not problem solving or praying, and you snap at your family. Then the last line of the model is the result line. So you want to look at all of your actions and you want to say, well, what is the result of all of those actions? And it's going to be related to your thought because your thoughts create your results. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. So the result line here is that your business continues to not be working. It's not going to work any better when your action line is being paralyzed and scrolling and snapping at your family, right? It's not going to get better. And so this one thing completely changed my life. It completely changed my business and the work that I was doing when someone taught me that your thoughts create your results. Because I had a whole bunch of stories about why I wasn't making money or losing weight or enjoying my children. And I was blaming a lot of things on the outside. I was blaming a lot of circumstances. And I didn't realize that it was just my thinking about a bunch of neutral circumstances. They were just sitting there. But then I had these thoughts about them that were creating terrible feelings for me. And then I was showing up in a way in my life that was not helping. Because when we feel like failures, when we feel like imposters, when we feel scarcity, like there isn't enough money or time, the way we show up in our life is not going to be helpful. It is not going to get us the results that we want. Okay? So I'm going to say the model words one more time. It's CTFAR. Circumstance, thought, feeling, actions, result. Okay? So that was our unintentional model. That was what's happening when you are not controlling your thinking. Okay? So now I want to move on to an intentional model. And in the intentional model, the circumstance is the same. We see the end of the month numbers and the total sales, and we didn't hit our goal. Okay? Now, when you're creating a model, you can come in at any line. You don't have to go from the top to the bottom. And so for an intentional model, the kind of thinking that you want to have to get you the results that you want, you can come in at any line. I often like to come in either at the result line, what do I want my result to be? Or in the action line, what do I want my actions to be? So for this example, I went in on the action line. And I thought, you know what? How do I want to show up in my business? Well, I want to pray. I want to make a social media schedule. I want to put out one post with an offer. And I want to do a month-end evaluation. I want to be a scientist in my own business. I want to look and see what happened this month, what worked, what didn't work. So I made this list of actions that I wanted to take. And then I asked myself, well, what would I need to be feeling in order to take those actions? All of our actions come from a feeling. Okay? And I wrote down convicted. I really like that feeling where I feel really convicted about something. I also wrote down in parentheses willing. Willing is a really wonderful feeling that most of you can get to without a lot of mind drama. Like if I asked you, would you be willing to make a social media schedule for 5 minutes, would you be willing to work on it for just 5 minutes? Most of you would say yes. Now, we only put one feeling in the feeling line. I chose conviction for myself when I was doing this, but I wanted to show you that willingness is also a feeling that is very powerful, gets a lot of work done, and that is available to you guys when you're doing these intentional models, okay? So I thought, okay, if I wanted to feel convicted about what I was doing, I wanted to sit down and be like, yes, this is what I'm supposed to be doing, what would I need to be thinking? And right there, I gave you an example. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. Might make me feel convicted. But when I was doing this, I had the thought, God has called me to this business. God has asked me to do this. And when I remember that God has asked me to teach Catholic moms how to manage their minds, it often drops me into the feeling of convicted, and then I start getting to work. Okay? And this is how we let the Holy Spirit run our business, right? We have conversations with Him, and we listen to what God tells us and the desires He plants in our hearts. Then we cultivate the thinking that helps us to achieve what He's asking us to do. So if He's asked you to be in business, you can have a thought like, God has called me to be in business. And that can lead to the feeling of being convicted, which leads to the action line, praying, making a social media schedule, making one post with an offer, and doing a month-end evaluation. And then what's your result? Your result is that you're going to be living out your calling. Your thoughts always create your results. So having this thought, God has called me to business, your result is I'm living out my calling. Right? You feel even more called because there will be a sense of peace in your body that happens when we're walking closely with God and doing what He wants us to be doing. Okay? So this is an unintentional and an intentional model. Okay, but now I wanted to show you what the value of having a business coach is. And I made somewhere between $15,000 and $20,000 in my business before I hired a business coach. And I was able to just take the model and work on it and listen to podcasts and study all of that free information to start making money. So I want you to know that that's completely possible. But what a business coach does for you is they help you get results faster because they see your thinking more clearly than you do. And here's how that works. And I want to show you what I asked my clients so you can ask yourself these questions, right? Again, it's always a little bit harder to see your own thinking because we're kind of swirling around in those feelings. That's why we hire business coaches, but you can absolutely do this for yourself. I do self-coaching all the time, okay? So the thought that you had in your unintentional model that I presented earlier was, this isn't working. You were looking at the sales numbers and you didn't hit your goal for the month. And there was this thought, this isn't working. And you can do self-coaching on that, and you probably would have ended up where we ended up. But a business coach won't let you get away with this thought. The business coach will go, well, what isn't working? They're not going to accept a this. And they're like, well, what? What is not working? And then you might say, well, my business isn't working. And then your business coach will be like, okay, what does not working mean? Like, I don't know what that means. What does that mean to you? Right? And you would say, well, my business isn't making enough money. Notice how we already have more clarity. And then your business coach will say, make enough money for what? And then you'll sit there and kind of squirrel for a little bit, like, okay, I don't know. Why? Okay, I'm not making enough money. Why am I not, what would I do with that money? And then you may say, and I hear this often, to afford childcare, right? There's this dance we do as moms in the beginning where we're trying to get our business off the ground when we haven't made money and we may not have any help with the kids. And then as the work starts growing, there's this period of time where we need to make more money in order to bring in someone to watch the kids, but your mind will say, but you need someone to come in and watch the kids in order to make more money. There's this point in your business where that conversation will start to happen. And so I always just ask, well, how much would it be? If you had somebody come in for 20 hours a week and watch your kids, how much would that be? Let's say it's $1,500 a month. Okay. So I'm now got my client to have clarity that they think that their business isn't making enough money to spend $15 a month on childcare. Okay. And I often ask after that, well, how much money would you need to make in your business in order to afford this, $1,500 line item? Because it's not usually that we just need to make $1,500 and then we can spend that. There's other expenses and other things going on. So let's say you came back and you said, well, you know what? If I was making $4,000 a month in my business, that would cover my expenses and it would enable me to pay for $1,500 of childcare. Okay. So now I say, why are you not making $4,000 a month in your business already? Right? That's what I'm going to ask you. And you're going to give me a thought, and that thought is going to be in one of two categories. It's either going to be a mindset problem where you have a limiting belief and you're believing a lie. You've planted a weed in your mind and you're watering it and you're believing it and it's keeping you tangled up and stuck. It's a mindset problem. Or it's an actual lack of skill problem. You don't have a particular skill that you need in order to move through the next phase of your business. Now, you're probably also having thoughts about that are keeping you stuck. But at this moment, I'm going to help you get clarity on that. So, when I say, why are you not making $4,000 a month in your business? Here are some examples of mindset things that would be keeping you from doing that. You would say, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't have enough time. I'm not good enough. No one likes my work. There are already too many coaches, courses, teachers, rosary makers, right? Like whatever it is, you think there's already too many of them. Okay? These are all thought errors. They sound really pretty and true, especially when we're pouting and we're spinning out, right? We kind of like to think some of these things. It's kind of a dark yumminess. Like, oh, I just don't know what I'm doing and there's already too many coaches and nobody likes my work. That's why I'm not making enough money. Right? But these are all just thought errors and, your coach can help you run them through the model and show you that these thoughts are just going to give you more of these results. If you think, I don't know what I'm doing, that's going to feel terrible. And you're not going to show up very well in your life. You're certainly not going to be working on your business well. Then it's going to create more of the result that you don't know what you're doing. Okay? I don't have enough time. When we think I don't have enough time, you say that to me like it's true. Right? And your business coach's job is to never believe your story. And be like, well, what does that even mean? We all have lots of time. Right? But if you're believing I don't have enough time, that's probably going to lead you to feeling panic. And then you're going to touch a bunch of things but not do them very well. And your result is going to be you have even less time because you were dinking, doing things that weren't important, and you still didn't get your stuff done. Okay? Now, if it's a lack of skill, right, we want to just come at that from a very neutral place, like being a scientist that just says, I notice that dog has not yet learned how to retrieve the ball and bring it back. We don't say, that's a bad dog. We're just like, no one's taught it how to do that yet. Okay? I used to be a dog trainer, so there will be lots of dog training analogies on this show. Be prepared. So maybe your lack of skill is you are not trained well in sales or marketing or Facebook ads or how to run a webinar or how to build a website. That there are these actual skills that you don't have. Then we can put that in the circumstance line because it's a fact. Let's say it's a fact you don't know how to run Facebook ads. That can now go in the circumstance line, and I can ask you, well, what do you think about that? And some of you will have, negative thoughts about it, like, oh, it's just too hard. I don't know what I'm doing. I can't figure it out. That seems scary. I don't have time to work on that. Whatever it is, right? And then some of you, once I show you that, oh, this is just a skill that you need to acquire, might choose to have a thought like, oh, I'm going to figure that out. That's all I need to do to get this done. That's the next thing I need to work on. Right? You can have thoughts that then lead to a feeling that drives the action of learning the skill. So it's wonderful when I find that I don't have a skill. I'm just like, oh, That's not a problem. I just need to figure out how to learn that skill or outsource it. Okay, so this is what a coach helps you do. Now, I want to run a thought error through the model since that's what today's episode is about, so you can kind of see what it looks like. Okay, so now you had this thought, I don't have enough time. And I'm always going to ask you, when are you having this thought? We want to get really clear on the circumstance. So the circumstance is when I look at my to-do list and I think, I don't have enough time. And then I feel panic. And then you're going to do a bunch of things but poorly. You're going to snap at your family and you're not problem solving and you're not praying. And then your result is you have even less time because you didn't get the things done that you needed to get done. So, in an intentional model, again, you can come in at any line. I came in on the feeling line when I did this one, and I said, well, how do I want to feel throughout the day? And I thought, I just want to feel calm. I want to feel calm. And what would I need to be thinking in order to feel calm? And this is one of my favorite thoughts that I give to moms in my membership program about their whole life and running the day. And all of the kids and the schools and everything. All the stuff that you guys have to do. And I love this thought. The important things always get done. The important things always get done. I want you to ask yourself how that's true. We never forget to take the kids to the dentist. We never forget to pick someone up from school or soccer practice or whatever. The important things always get done. And when I remember that, oh, Sterling, the important things always get done, instantly makes me feel calm. Oh yeah, they do. And then, you know what's so funny is when we feel calm, we pray and we get to work. In this unintentional model, you are spinning out and using so much of your energy to not get work done. It's crazy. It's why you're so tired. Sometimes we get to the end of the day and we're like, I don't even know what I did, but I feel so tired. And it's because it takes actual physical energy to spin out emotionally in your mind. And when we get really clear on our thinking, and it gives us the kind of feelings that we want, we just get to work. You get all your stuff done, and that's how you have extra time. It's incredible. This is the value of mindset coaching. And you can use the model to coach yourself, to stop believing lies, so that you can have a whole lot more of pray and get to work, whatever that means for you, with the kids or with your business. And your result is going to be the important things, and probably more, get done. When we stop having drama about our schedule, we just get to work. And then we have extra time and we're like, I'm going to make cookies with the kids. That sounds fun. That's the kind of mom I want to be. All right? Your thoughts create your results. The only reason you're not making the money that you want in your business right now is because of your thinking. And I hope that's the best thing that you've heard today. The only reason you're not making the money you want in your business is because of your thinking. I went from working extremely hard and making $5,000, maybe $10,000 a year. I learned how to manage my thinking and I started making a lot of money. And I was the same person with the same skill set. But what I did was I just cleared out all of that junk thinking and I was able to pray and get to work. And my relationship with God has never been better. Because, one of the thoughts that I had was, oh, I shouldn't be a working mom. We're going to talk about that in a different episode. But I just cleaned that up. God wants me to be in business. Let's get to work. And that feels amazing. All right. Your thoughts create your results. So, if it's the other thing, though, and you actually find that you just don't have a skill, okay, then here are some questions you can ask, which just help you plug into the model, right? So what's the skill? Let's stick with, I'm going to stick with my YouTube channel animation. You guys, I had so much drama about making that 10-second animation that goes before a YouTube video. So I have a lot of experience podcasting, but for this show, I really wanted it to be available as both a podcast and as a YouTube video. And I noticed that a lot of YouTube videos had this like cute little animation at the beginning that matched the music that comes at the beginning of a podcast. And I wanted to do that to make it look really polished, but I had no idea how to do it. And I would Google it and I really struggled to find it. And then I went to Fiverr, which is a really great place to find people to do work for you. But I really didn't like anybody's work. They were all terrible for the style that I wanted. And so I was just spinning out on this for a while. And I just want to share that with you, that even now as a mindset coach, I still do that sometimes. I still allow my brain to run around unsupervised like a toddler. And I allow that and my garbage thinking to keep me stuck. So I was feeling really stuck about having the YouTube channel animation. So then I got it together and I was like, listen, you're literally a business coach. Get it together. Here's what we're doing. How would you coach your client about this? And I would ask, what action do I need to take? And the action I needed to take was to research and get it done. And I wrote it specifically that way because at the time that I was doing this, I thought there's still a chance I could pay someone to do this and outsource it. And then there's still a chance that I'm going to be the one who does it. So I wanted to research and get it done. Okay. And I thought, well, what feeling would I need in order to do that? And for me, the feeling was determination. I just wanted to feel really determined that I was going to get this done. And then I thought, well, what thought would I have to be thinking in order to feel determination? And the thought was, I will figure this out today. And I'll tell you, I carved out 3 hours because I think I had been trying to stick it in between other tasks. And then I'd go in and I'd feel overwhelmed by not finding the answer. I mean, it's very meta to YouTube how to do a YouTube introduction and then not find the answer, right? And so I set aside 3 hours, which was a lot of time, but I was pretty confident that I could solve my problem in 3 hours. And I just had this thought, I'm going to figure this out today. Boom, done. I'm going to get it done. And I did feel determination. I really did. And this is exactly how you guys can get things done. You just ask yourself, what action do I need to take? What feeling do I need to have in order to fuel that action? And what thought is going to create that feeling? Our thoughts always create our results. Okay? I'm sorry. That is also true. But our feelings come from our thinking. Okay? This is not wishful thinking or mantras. It will not work if you don't believe the thought, right? So if I had tried on the thought, I'm great at YouTube animations, it would not have led to the feeling of determination. If I had thought, I'm great at YouTube animations, I would have felt like a liar. And you'll know when you're trying on a thought that doesn't fit because it feels like trying on a jacket that's too small, and your body will kind of give you this feeling. Okay? Another thought that you could have is learning this, and I'd get really specific. So for me, it was learning YouTube animations is what it takes for me to build a successful business coaching practice. Right? That's what, and that was a choice, by the way. It isn't necessary. Lots of people don't have them, but I wanted it. And so I just got really clear. Hey, Sterling, this is what it takes to get the thing that you want. So we're going to get it done. All right? We're going to figure it out today. So that was just an overview. I'm sure we will talk so much more about models, but an overview to the model and this idea that your thinking creates your results. And some of the questions I asked my clients to show them their own thinking. The power of a business coach is that they are just like a big mirror that shows you why you're stuck in your business. And it's so much easier for us to see it because we're not you. I'm not scared about your business. It doesn't hurt my feelings. Like none of that. I'm just here watching your brain and showing you, did you notice that you said this? And then asking questions. What does that mean? What would having enough time look like? What would having enough money do for you? What are you making those sales numbers mean about you? Right? Now, what I love about business coaching, because I have been, life coaching moms for a while, But business coaching is a mix of mindset coaching and strategy. So I love doing the mindset coaching with my clients. Hey, what are you thinking? What's holding you back? Then we also go in on that action line and say, okay, now what are you going to be doing this week? What is the plan that's going to help you get to your results? So I start all of my one-on-one clients with a 90-minute strategy session where we lay out your goals for 6 months. And we actually do a 3-year plan, but we go really detailed on the first 6 months. And we say, okay, what is it going to take for you to achieve these goals? And then all of our follow-up appointments are, what mind drama did you have around getting this stuff done? We clean that up, and then we go back to, how are we going to get this stuff done so you can achieve your goals? It's so fun. I love it. And if you want to learn how to grow your business, keep coming back to the show. I'm going to give you all the information that you need to get started and to grow your business, right? My goal is to get you guys to start making the kind of income that you need so that you can come work with a business coach, whether that's me or somebody else. But I believe that if you're in business, you need a business coach to look at your mind and to help you grow to 6 or 7 figures, whatever kind of business you're trying to create. I love my business coach. She has absolutely helped me grow faster than I would have without her. And I just want to invite any of you, if you're thinking about having a business coach and you feel ready for that, come chat with me. Reach out to me. You can go check me out at madeforgreatness.co/business. You can see all of the business stuff that we do, and you can book a call with me and we can talk about what are your business goals and what would coaching look like. In the meantime, I want you to run a model. Get out a piece of paper, circumstance, thought, feeling, action, result. I want you to run a model and show yourself how your thinking is creating the results you have in your life, and how your thinking is keeping you from the results you want. Really sit with that idea, because once we understand that, man, we can really go out there and achieve our dreams. And remember, your dreams were given to you by the Lord. He planted those desires in your heart, right? So He is going to give you whatever you need to achieve them. Our job is just to pay attention to our minds and clean out that garbage thinking so we can do the work of the Lord. All right, ladies, I'm praying for you. Have a blessed day.